Okay, I read Twilight in 2008. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and in November of that year, I wrote this about it. It's my so-called life in vampire garb. Thankfully, the masses seem to have gotten it right with this one. I had difficulty with the first half, where it seemed mired in the reluctantly popular, pathologically insecure high school girls' adventures in the hallways. In those early pages, it felt like the book was trying to string us along using sitcom lies of omission and other incomplete information to build the plot. However, once the story turned to the basis of its vampire mythology and spent real time with the central relationship of Bella and Edward, I was hooked, like everyone else. In reflection, I think the only reason I didn't appreciate the early stuff was my lack of ability to identify with Bella. For that part, I'm probably stunted by my gender. The book will surely communicate with women and girls in a way that it won't with men and boys. I will definitely read the full series and see the films based on this book. Pages 270 through 400 are excellent. The roguish romance between the two main characters is tangible, exciting, and real, even in its fantastic context. So, I don't know if I agree with everything that I wrote there, but I really did like Twilight #1. And this is kind of where we get to the memoirs part of the program, in that the big thing that happened to me in 2008 was that I got married. And so with this and a lot of the books that I'm going to talk about for the next decade, a lot of it is stuff that I was sharing with my former partner. And she really liked this book and liked this series. And so we kind of read it together. And it was really fun to do it that way. It was fun to share the book in that way. When I say I don't agree with it so much anymore, I don't, in review, and we're going to talk about all 4 books at some point in this series, in review, thinking about the character development for Bella and Edward in particular, and when they start playing against the other characters as the series grows, I don't super love their relationship or their characters. I still think it's a wonderful story, and I think this first book is actually really, really good. It's definitely like quintessential young adult fiction. I think it's great for kids, especially high school age kids, that are looking for fun reading, because it's very, very fun. But the fact that I called the relationship or the romance tangible, exciting, and real, I don't know if I'd still agree with that, especially after reading all the books and seeing all the movies. So here's the first of the Twilight books. The next of them will happen some point. I break them up with certain books. I'm going through there. Oh, and one other thing that I want to mention, because I talk about the masses a lot in this. This one, I think, we're going to keep track of this, but this one I think has the most reviews of the most people who have read it of any of my connections on Goodreads. I think there's 29 different people that I'm connected to on Goodreads that have read this book. So this is the most pop fiction that is going to be in this series. This is the most reviews for any of them that are on there too. So potentially there might be a lot of people who are particularly opinionated about Twilight, and maybe it can spark a good conversation. I liked the first one, 4 out of 5 stars. It may or may not be my favorite of the 4. I know I don't feel the same about all the 4, so maybe that's a little taster for what's to come in she calls it the Twilight Saga series. This is Twilight, the Twilight Saga #1. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Till next.